What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Hustling with D. I'm your host, Dee. Before we get going, please make sure to smash up the like button and subscribe to the channel. Today, I have a pretty atypical video. I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing it, but here goes. So I think I've mentioned before a little bit of a Gigtube drama that I'm going to jump myself and I'm going to push myself into. It's a response to a response to a response. I think I've said before that I'm a fan of Tanner Markley on this channel. I think he has really good advice. I also he just seems like a pretty down-to-earth guy. So shout out. I'll link his channel. But basically last night he did a response to someone who has been calling him out for a while. For some reason, I took a little bit of time and actually found the channel. But I want to discuss kind of the argument and sort of my perspective, because I'm a little bit older than probably a lot of guys in this space, maybe around the same age as Tanner. So, so basically, the guy's argument was that wealthy people don't have multiple streams of income, right? And I just have so much I could say about that. I'm going to try to be succinct here. So, there is some truth to that, right? Generally, you want to do one thing really, really, really well, right? And, you can have other streams, right? But ultimately, you're moving that capital over into those more secure streams after you've capitalized on that one thing that you've done extremely well, all right? So, This is something, and look, there are guys out there who just, maybe they find a great investment and then that one thing just blows up, right? Or maybe they have a restaurant, it just explodes. But by and large, most people who make it don't do it that way. And I can all but assure you this kind of bitter, nasty person is not doing it, right? I did at first think that they must be young because it's something that I think a child who doesn't have bills would say, but I think whatever. I'm not going to speculate too much because I don't know, and I don't even know the guy. Here's the thing, though. Once you're an adult, okay, and you have bills and you might have a wife. I mean, I have 2 children, right? So if you're trying to hustle and you're trying to pursue an endeavor, right? If you're not immediately making income, right, positive net income, right, from that endeavor, you're going to need to stop doing that, okay? Because you're not 18 in your mom's basement. You're not in your college dorm anymore, right? And that's why I've talked about before on this channel, one of the main reasons I do DoorDash, even though I do have other businesses, is because DoorDash gives me immediate cash flow, and that's extremely important. If I didn't have DoorDash, and this isn't a good thing, by the way, this is something that I hope to change in the very near future, but if I didn't have DoorDash right now, I would likely be back at a W-2 job, right? Because again, it's weekly at $500, $600, $700 that I do need from time to time to pay off bills, right? Or for taxes, type of stuff like that. So, what I'm getting at is, ultimately when you're pursuing something, if you think it is still worth pursuing, right? Let's say you have some startup idea, right? And I used to be in that world, and I've talked to so many of those guys, and I can't tell you how many of them are well, yeah, I was building my business, and on the side I was doing some dev work to make money. Of course, because you need to stay afloat, right? So that's one thing. I think, early on, of course you're going to need immediate multiple streams of income if the one thing you're pursuing is not providing sustainable income, right? But you're making that sacrifice because in the future you do think it will. The other thing I would say, just as a more general statement, is I just kind of don't think that's true. I agree with the general premise. There should be one primary area of focus, but there are a lot of wealthy people. Are you saying that wealthy people don't diversify their income? You know what I mean? It's I get that you're saying, hey, if you're a lot of people get rich one way. That's true. But then what do, right? They're going to invest into stocks. They're going to invest into bonds, right? And that way the thing is, it's a hedge, right, against, let's say a systemic shock to the economy, right, or your main business going under, right? So it's like, you could even think of think about somebody like Elon Musk, right? Like, did he have to continue doing this? Like, think about like venture capitalists. Like, why do they diversify their portfolio, right? It's like, why wouldn't they just get one really great company? So like, I generally accept the premise, but there is a level at which I would reject the premise, right? But my general point is, cash flow is king, and if you don't have cash flow early on, you're not going to be able to sustain a business, right? So you shouldn't be worried about these like ideals, or like these like what like you learned in B school, or like I know this guy didn't go to B school, but you know what I'm saying. I didn't go to B school either, but yeah. Anyway, that was a little bit long-winded, a little bit convoluted too, but I hope that is at least I provided some insight into this. I also, again, I'll tell this story one last time. When I came out of college, so that was about 7 years ago now, I started a business, and it was a cool business, and I actually got a lot of users, okay? And I did have a revenue, a revenue model, right? The problem is I ran out of money, right? So I was looking for investors. I missed an investment. I had an issue with a co-founder, whatever. But the point is I ran out of money. And if I were dashing at that time, or if I was waiting tables doing something, I don't know, but I certainly could have sustained that business significantly longer than I did. Right. And there are tons of people who have similar experiences. So yeah. Also, just, ignore the haters. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, have a great day.